first off, I want to make sure that everybody has what they need for the meeting and for after the meeting. Over there on the table where you signed in, if you did not sign in, please make sure you sign in before you leave. There's also concussion information over there if you would like that. There are blank physical forms if your child does not have a physical. If you are not certain if your child has a physical or not, Andrea has a list of everybody that has a physical on our file. So afterwards, if you have a question, please go ask her. And then also your handout for the meeting, and then the online registration packets are over there as well that you will need after the meeting. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to write them down and I'll answer them at the end of the presentation. My name is Jason Dreyer. I'm the athletic director at the high school and also the middle school. I just ended my 4th year in that role. Sitting over there at the table is Andrea Hammock. She is our athletic department secretary. She is the one behind the scenes that makes sure that everything gets done. She does an awesome job. Thanks again for coming out and taking time out of your schedule. We had a great school year in our athletic programs this past year. All of the coaches and the kids really deserve a lot of credit for the time and the effort that they put in throughout this past school year. We had 2 big highlights and 2 big firsts for our school district this year with 2 state finishes by our softball team this fall. They got 3rd place in Class 2, and then our girls track team just this past weekend finished 2nd in the entire state. So those 2 programs did a great job, and we're hoping that those are just the first of many state banners that we can hang up in our gym. Tonight we're going to talk about some school updates and some changes with MSHSAA. And when I talk about MSHSAA, I'm referring to the Missouri State High School Activities Association, which we are members of, a part of that association, and they govern all the middle school and all the high school athletic events in the state of Missouri. Jefferson High School promotes our student athletes, coaches, and parents and fans to pursue good sportsmanship, respect, responsibility, integrity, leadership, and good sportsmanship are some of the values that our school and our coaches try to embed in our students every day. In the big picture, here are some qualities or values that we want our kids to leave our programs with when they are done. Self-confidence, the courage to take risks, self-motivation, responsibility, self-discipline, flexibility, the skills to work with others, commitment, and the ability to focus. Participation in athletics are teaching our kids more than just the sport that they're participating in. They're learning values and qualities that are going to make them better people and benefit them for the rest of their lives. So I ask that you trust the athletic department and our coaches that we're making the best decisions for our students. Help us promote and build young men and women of character and help us provide your students the best experience possible. Communication. Please teach your students to communicate with the coaches, whether it's good times or bad times. The ability to communicate verbally is getting lost with our younger generation with all of the technology that they have. So please teach your students to be an advocate for themselves and talk to their coaches on a consistent basis. If there are any issues with a coach, we have a system set in place that should help eliminate most of the problems. I call it the 24-hour rule. Please do not attempt to confront a coach before, during, or after a game. Coaches spend hours and hours before a game preparing for a game. Emotions run high for everybody involved, the coaches, the players, the parents, and the fans. And the majority of the time that we have a confrontation right before, right after, or during a game, those emotional times do not result in a positive outcome. So I believe that communication between the players and the coach are vital to the success of their relationship and also the team. So please urge your students to be responsible for themselves. We do not have a coach here at the high school or at the middle school that is unapproachable or that will not take their own time out to talk to each student. Parents, please do not contact the coaches unless you are 100% positive that your child has done so already. There's nothing worse for a coach to be blindsided by a parent about a problem when the coach did not realize that there was a problem to begin with. So please stress to your child to communicate with the coaches. If for some reason a problem does persist, we ask that a parent or both parents to request a conference with the coach. During that conference, the student would have to be present for that meeting for accuracy of information. We all want to be role models of good sportsmanship. Everybody, the students, coaches, parents, and fans, need to cooperate together to make sure that the student's experience is the best that it can be. All right, switching gears, we talked about the physical form a little bit while ago. Every athlete in the state of Missouri must have a completed physical form on file before they can practice. Please make sure that this 4-page document is filled out and completed. To be able to participate this year, they must have an updated physical dated after February 1st of 2017. That will be good for the entire school year this coming up year. If your child shows up for the first practice and this isn't filled out or completed, they may sit and watch, but it will not count as a practice and they will not be allowed to participate. Each student has to have 14 practices in before they can participate in a game. So it's absolutely important that you guys have the physicals done by the first day of practice, because I believe the first football game, if we would just practice during the week, you only have 14 days of practice before that. So make sure that they are there every day and that they have their paperwork done beforehand. Mission policy also states that every athlete in the state of Missouri has to be covered by insurance. So every participant in the state of Missouri must have insurance. If this is an issue with anyone, please come talk to me tonight, and we'll try to help you figure out a plan that make your student eligible. And also on a side note, if you guys do not have a physical yet, we host our annual physical day every year in February. That's a great thing for us. We usually get about 70% of all of our athletes done in that one day. It's during the day and it's only $20. So just keep that in mind next year if you did not participate in that this year. All right, moving on to concussions. There's a concussion information. It's linked on our athletic website at jeffersonbluejays.com. And we also have handouts over there on the table where you signed in at. I encourage everybody to take the information tonight or to look at that information on our website. If a student receives a concussion, a return to play form must be filled out before that student can return to practice. The athletic office, specifically myself, will be in touch with anybody that has a concussion. The return to play form and that procedure is set in place to make sure that we are not rushing anybody back after a concussion. Concussions are a very serious injury, and we do not want to ruin a child's future because we wanted to get them back for a game or whatever it is. Moving on to our athletic handbook. Our athletic handbook is also linked up on our athletic website. You will also have the opportunity to read our athletic handbook tonight when you're registering your son or your daughter on our online registration, as that is one of the documents that you will have to read and sign off on that you read. You also have in your handout tonight 4 pages out of our handbook that we're going to go over briefly tonight. The first part of the handbook that we're going to go over is how to maintain your eligibility. All items that are everything that's in here is something that the students and parents need to be aware of. The first thing is attendance. A student must be in attendance the day of a game to be able to participate that night. And if the contest is on Saturday, then the student must be at school the Friday before the Saturday to be able to participate that weekend. If there is something that comes up and you know beforehand that your son or your daughter will not be in school the day of the game, please contact me and contact their coach, and we will work with you. But if it's something that we don't get contacted beforehand, it's going to be hard for us to work with you. So just be upfront and honest with us beforehand if you know that something's going to happen with that. As far as academics, any freshman that is coming in their first semester is automatically eligible. Starting the second semester of their freshman year through their 12th grade year, a student's eligibility will be based on the previous semester and the grades of the previous semester. Students have to earn 3 credits a semester to be eligible to participate in sports. Generally, that means passing a minimum of 6 classes, which with each class being a half credit. Let me give you an example of what has happened here in the past to a student a couple years ago. If a student has an academic lab class, that is not a credit-bearing class. So it's a class that's going to be on your schedule, but it's not a credit-bearing class. But if a student does not earn a credit towards graduation for that class, it is not a credit-bearing class. So if a student has an academic lab because he or she is taking multiple college courses, then they would have to pass every other class. So we have a 7-hour day. So each kid has seven classes. If one of their classes is an academic lab, then they have to pass every one of their other 6 classes to be eligible. A couple years ago, we had a student, first semester, that was taking 2 college courses. She dropped one of the college courses late into the semester, and she picked up an academic lab to fill that college course. She did not pass the college course that she kept. Thus, she only earned 2.5 credits because she failed her college class, and then one of her other classes was an academic lab. So she only passed 5 classes, which is 2.5 credits. So if a student is going to change their schedule around after school starts, make sure you contact myself or contact Mrs. Runze to make sure that we are all on the same page of what you're going to have to do to be eligible for the following semester. Moving on to citizenship requirements. Measure defines, it says that a good citizen or students who represent a school in interscholastic activities must be a credible citizen and judged so by proper authority. Law enforcement, if a student who commits a crime or an act for which charges may be or have been filed by law enforcement authorities, a misdemeanor or a felony statute shall not be eligible until all the proceedings with the legal system have been concluded and any penalty or special condition of the probation, example like